Minasan konnichiwa. Welcome to JinJapan Podcast, Jarvis in Japan Podcast, a podcast of me, Jarvis, a data scientist nomad in Japan, traveling, seeing new places in Japan, exploring and learning a lot, and then, making a podcast and giving that information to you guys. And last week I was in Shizuoka, and I went to an art museum I very much liked. The Shizuoka City Toukaidou Hiroshige Art Museum. This is an art museum dedicated to Utagawa Hiroshige and this very, very famous art piece of his collection of 54 art pieces called the Toukaidou Gouzan Tsugi. What in English is the Tokai Road. The 53 stops. So probably better to say that the 53 stops of the Tokai Road. But you may be weird this there because I said there's 54, but the art piece is called 53, and yes, there's 53 stops, but he had an extra one at the end, so it made it 54. This is Ukioe. So today, we're going to talk about Ukioe or Tanoshimi. So first off, we're going to talk about who was Utagawa Hiroshige. So Utagawa Hiroshige lived from 1797 to 1858. And he wasn't just an ukiyo-e artist. He was a very famous ukiyo-e artist in his later life. But he was actually born into a family, but basically Japanese firefighters in the Edo period. You call these hikeshi. And these are the guys you've probably seen pictures of them. Or you've definitely seen pictures of the big sticks. They have big sticks with circles and triangles on, with tassels hanging down, and they would go into the fire, and they would throw these around the air to kind of make the air a bit more damp, so it's less likely to spread a fire. Because there was lots and lots of fires in the Edo period, Japan, and it says, Edo was fires and fistfights. They're the flowers of Edo. It was a very lively place. At 13, he started working as one of these firefighters. And while he was working as a firefighter, he was also a student to one of the most famous or the biggest ukiyo-e families, I would say, or institutes. They were institutes what would familiarize you, because if you join the institute to become an apprentice, you had to change your name. This is one thing I found really interesting about the ukiyo-e art, is they were like clans, really. And Utagawa Toyokuni was basically the biggest clan owner of the time, and this was the Utagawa. So you see a lot of other famous ukiyo-e artists with Utagawa in their name. You're like, are they the same family? No, this is the family of apprentices. If you want to be the apprentices to the top guy, you gotta change your name to his. And for, Utagawa Hiroshige, his actual original name was not actually Utagawa Hiroshige as well. At the time, he was an apprentice to Utagawa Tomohiroshi, Toyohiro. So Hiro, the kanji for big. So pretty much 3 parts of his name got changed. So to become part of this apprentice, you basically got to change who you are. You got to change your name. It's quite important when you think about it, really. You cut off your family line. You got to be this family of artists now. But Utagawa Hiroshige did this while being a firefighter, but I found it quite cool. And when he got the age of 25, he had enough work, enough prestige in the sort of ukiyo-e community to go solo and just be an ukiyo-e artist. Not be a firefighter anymore, go all out on ukiyo-e. And he was actually still pretty popular before he went all out. He had lots of famous, very pretty ladies, scenery, all sorts of artwork he did, really. Not just ukiyo-e, he also did hand drawings as well, very famous scrolls he also did. But a year after he went full out on ukiyo-e, he released his sort of meisaku, his most renowned for piece. This is the Toukaidou Goju Sanseki in English, like I said in the intro, that is the 50 free stops of the Toukaidou Road. The Toukaidou Road is a road in the Edo period Japan, what went from Edo, what's modern-day Tokyo, to Kyoto, what's like the central Japan, explore the temples, all the good stuff of Japanese culture, tea ceremony and stuff, and the emperor. So basically, this is the road from the shogun in Tokyo, what's then called Edo, to the emperor. Like, it's quite important when you think about that sort of trade routes, the message going through. And for this road, when Tokugawa Ieyasu took over, he made it sure that this road was well kept, and there was 50 free stops on this road. So Utagawa Hiroshige, he had a great idea. He loved travelling, and there was a travel boom going on with like light novels, like Japanese novels. But say then light novels today, with like basically a novel with certain pages, they're drawings. You'd call them light novels today. I can't remember what they're called in Edo period, so gomennasai. But he saw this piece, and was like, let's draw every single stop. Ooh, so he went a bit crazy and drew 53 of the stops. And well, it exploded in success. One reason being is, well, they're extremely cheap. One of these art pieces of the 53 would cost you the same price you would pay today, or say the same price at the time you'd pay for like instant ramen. At the time in Edo, you would go for udon or soba. But you can get these art pieces very quick and very cheaply, so they were sold out a lot. So people then realized, I want to go and see that myself. And this is the great thing about the東海道五十三次, is they were from the viewers of a traveller. They weren't like Hokusai's pieces, like the Fukaku Sanjuroke, his very famous art pieces like the Great Wave of Hokusai, and some of the other ones, the very scenic views of travellers. These were the views you would see as a traveller while walking. So this made people, want to go on this trip themselves. You see the artwork, you see it, you want to go and see it yourself. It's like real day, right? You see something on Instagram, you want to go to that cafe. This was the sort of social media of the time. And along the Toukaidou, there's also very famous pilgrimages people would take. One to Ise Jingu, once in Mie Prefecture, like the spiritual home of Japanese Shinto. If you want to learn more about that, please check out my other post on Ise Jingu. I kind of travelled all the way around the bike, so it's definitely worth checking out. And one stop on this road is Urahara. And I stayed at Urahara in Shizuoka City last week, and I visited, the museum dedicated to this art piece by Hiroshige. And that is the Shizuoka City Toukaidou Hiroshige Art Museum. And this is actually a small art museum, really, when you think about it. It's a biggish, medium-sized building, but the top floor is currently on reservation, so it's only the bottom floor, all dedicated to Ukioe. But it's great if you like Ukioe. I do, so it's good, enjoyable, and good fun. And it's not just about Hiroshige. There's a room dedicated to all the Toukaidou Jusansuke, with some of the original artwork still preserved really nicely, so it's nice seeing those and the places they were taking it. But the museum also has a lot about the history of Ukioe, its influence on the West as well, and also one piece I liked about how it's made. Because Ukioe, you see, it's print. They're prints, but this was prints from the 16th and 18th century, before we had printers. How did you have print stuff then? You used wood carvings. You had to use a wood carving for every single colour. This is something that gets interesting when you think about Ukioe, is there's only real 6 colours in them. They're not very, very colourful. They're not very vibrant, lots of different colours. Why? Because you had to make lots and lots of different stamps, right? Wood carvings. These were stamps carved out of wood. They're very long and tiring to make. One miss, you got to do it all over again, right? but they did it. They made these carvings, and normally you only have about 6 colours you would go into a piece, with those colours also being gradiented to get the sort of weathering effects, get the sky effect coming in. But it shows that these are more than just drawings. It's more than just one artist probably going into this, right? This is like a team effort. This is coming back to the Utagawa clan. That group of artists is just more than one person needs to make Ukioe. Like, you need a conglomerate of people to make these sell. Make them sell. And these people who group together in these sort of clan-like fashion really made Ukioe what it is. Like, all that sort of smart people, all the talented people, put them in one place and bam, you birth new talent, you birth new art pieces, and they will probably help each other out, chip in. And especially Hiroshige, because he was really a firefighter. He really liked helping people, and he was very, a kind person in his life. And even though today he's probably not one of the most famous Ukioe artists, as we've probably got Hokusai is probably the most famous, and his younger brother, Kuniyoshi, is probably now more famous than he is, but at the time, Hiroshige, he probably was more famous than Hokusai. Why? Because he kind of knocked Hokusai off the top block. He was the rival to Hokusai. Because before Hiroshige, Hokusai releases Fukugasan Jorokke, like with the one with the great wave in, and this one came after it, and this kind of rivalry Hokusai kind of annoyed him a little bit. But through rivalry it makes good art pieces, and well, we can all enjoy. And for the Toukaidou, that means everyone can enjoy it. Everyone could travel, see what it has to offer, and you yourself can do that trip today. That's one of the great things I think about this art piece, is you yourself could travel along this road and see maybe not all the pieces, but some of them are still there today. So if you come to Japan, I would definitely check out the Toukaidou Gouzansuke before you come, and see if one of the pieces is on the trip you're making. If you go to Shizuoka, or you want to go for like Aichi Prefecture, and you want to go through Tokyo, Kyoto, just check them out and see if you can find one of the shots from the Toukaidou Gouzansuke, because that will make your trip much more enjoyable, I think. So that's the end episode today of JinJapan Podcast. And if you like this podcast and the content I make about Japan and Japanese, please leave a comment anywhere you find this, especially if you listen to it on iTunes, because comments mean a lot there, and if you do that, I will love you forever. So, 皆さん最後まで聞いてくれてありがとうございました。じゃあね。